Guys, look, stop. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this because I've had enough of this reading the comments and just talking and seeing that nobody's gonna change. Nobody's even gonna get the message. Stop dating women in the United States altogether. I know I said stop. Don't marry a woman. Don't even with them at all now. Okay? Because the thing is, nobody's gonna change, right? Nobody's even gonna try to compromise. Okay? They think that you want to control them because you ask them to sweep the floor in the same house that they live in. And at the end of the day, I was told that, hey, Austin, you're just going through a phase. But let me ask you this. What are you getting out of dating a woman from the United States? You go to these other countries, you experience these women that treat you like you are somebody, like a real human, to be honest. And then you come back here. Man, I came back here and I'm like, I'll just wait to have sex again when I get out of the country. I just got interviewed. A dude asked me if I met a good chick here in the United States, would it change my mind? To be honest with you, knowing me, I'm not even going to give it a shot. It's a way.
Hims helps guys take care. Whether you're looking for support for your mental health, performance in the bedroom.
If I met a good chick here in the United States, would it change my mind? To be honest with you, knowing me, I'm not even going to give it a shot. It's a waste of time. If I go on a date, every time I spend money in the United States, I think about how much would it have been in Brazil and how much money am I wasting. I go to Austin, Texas. I love Austin, Texas. I go over there to hang out for 3 days. That money it costs me to hang out in Austin for 3 days pays for 2 months in Colombia. Why the would I date over here in the United States? First, you're going to spend all your money here. And then you're going to get a that can't even get her pH off. And don't give me that bullshit if I'm picking the wrong one. All y'all pH off damn near. Especially if you're under 25. Y'all shit. You probably watch this right now, your shit's. But yeah, just stop dating in the United States altogether. And that's what's going to make women wake up. They don't need a man. They don't need us. Let them die alone. We go to another country, find you a woman, come back. Shit, don't even come back. They're going to have to comply, and they're going to have to rethink. And then before I go, another thing, I talked to my homeboy. He said, "Oh, those women in South America, they just act like that because they're basically second-class citizens. They're not treated like shit. The same shit that women here claim to be bullshit. In Arabia, you can't even drive. But okay, so what? They are women that are being so oppressed that they cook for their men and they have sex when they want to and they sweep the floor. And then what do you have back here? It's the day and night difference. It's a complete flip. Get the the United States. The women here ain't shit. I'm calling it for what it is. If they shit, bring 100,000 of them. Put them all in the group. You can't even get 20 of them."
Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. There is a lot, I repeat, a lot to unpack in this particular video. But first things first, man, let me make sure I give a shout out to my big brother, O'Shea Duke Jackson. He made a video on this particular topic of conversation earlier. I kind of want to touch on it from a other standpoint, but I found this video to be intense. I found it to be passionate, and there's just, like I said, so much to unpack, so I don't want to waste any time to get into it. Well, we got this brother here who made this TikTok video about why he's choosing to no longer date women in the West, right? Seems to be a flow of the videos lately, but work with me and we'll get through it because I think there's a lot to come out of this that I think is something we can all benefit from. So first things first, I believe he started off with a video prior to the one that I showed you guys, where in basically women were kind of feeling and or perpetuating the narrative that by sweeping the house in which you live in, you know, you're kind of being utilized as a slave, right? And you know the vibe, right? You know, the feminists, you know, they're gonna go hard at you. I ain't no slave, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. Which is why he initially talked about being turned off from dating women in the West, right? That was the example he used. But then he got to the point where he said, just negate it and forget them all, period. Not just a chosen few, but just forget all of them, period, because they ain't worth it, right? And one of the main reasons he touched on in the beginning was basically there's no room for change. A lot of these women are not going to change, right? They're just not going to change, right? There's pretty much zero compromise. They say it, they're not willing to compromise. They're not willing to meet you halfway. It's just this way or no way at all. And I do believe that there are other people who have contributed to it being this way, but you know what it is, man. He's basically saying, look, I can't rock with him anymore because there's no compromise, right? Zero compromise, and they'll never get the message. They'll never understand or feel as though, yo, man, this is just something that, this actually is your living space as well. Do you not want to keep it clean? Yes, we live together. You're dating or you're living together, whatever. Yeah, we keep it clean together, but you live here too, boo. It's like you don't want to lift your hands to do nothing. It's kind of the vibe that I was getting from that particular point of the video, right? And it feels as though women have the idea that if you're asking them to do something, you're trying to control them. What? You're trying to control them. It's kind of the energy that you get when you ask them to do anything. That's what he was saying in this particular video. And he asked a profound question that I think was also worth noting. And he says, what exactly are you getting from dating a woman in the West? Or what are you getting from dating an American woman? And it didn't seem like there's a lot that you can say you're getting out of your relationship with your woman in the West. Now, let's not get it twisted. Let's make sure we keep it a buck. There are a lot of successful relationships with men and women that both come from the West, right? That's not the same, but you got to understand all of the women aren't sharing in the same ideologies. It's just unfortunate that the majority of these women are following the same ideology. And as a result, with the majority, it kind of ruins it for the minority, if you feel me. Right? So he was asking, what are we getting from dating women in the West? And he kind of basically said, not much, right? And I'm looking at my notes here because I had to write down a couple things to make sure that I didn't miss anything I wanted to tackle in this particular videos. He says, when you go to other countries, women at least treat you like human beings. And, we had the conversation about black men being treated like rare kings and all of that stuff. You remember that. But when he says they just treat you like human beings, that's just the bare minimum of what you have to do for a man. Fuck, we want to be treated like we're more than just sperm donors, man. We want to be treated like we are more than just, helping there to procreate. To be honest, man, a man's value and how he chooses his purpose in life is knowing that he's working towards something. Right? But if you as a woman in his particular relationship treating this man like shit, what exactly goes back to the question, what is he getting from that relationship with you as a woman in the West? Going abroad and being treated like we're actually somebody. It doesn't necessarily have to be the rock star treatment, but damn it, like we are people too. Is a big difference than kind of the vibe we get from dealing with our own young ladies in the country in which we come from, right? And then he said one of the greatest lines of all time, ladies and gentlemen. He said, fuck it, when I come back to the United States from my trips, basically, I'd rather wait to have sex until I go abroad again than waste my time dealing with a woman in the West. Now, man, if you are a person who's been abroad or a person that has, frequented countries, abroad or in other countries, he prefers the DR in Brazil. Me, I'm more of an Asian guy, basically. Countries, Japan, Korea, the Philippines, of course, and places like Thailand. So everybody has their preference. But he said, I would rather wait to be intimate or be with somebody while I'm in the United States till I get a chance to go back abroad than deal with women here. Now, that's saying something. I've said that too, right? My wife's here now, so that's a big difference. But, bruh, you fucking know it's bad if you're willing to basically commit to abstinence and somewhat celibacy or become celibate until you go abroad again. It's bad, right? And I had to vibe with him on that one because I felt it. Because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. I get you pregnant, ironically. Now I have to deal with you for the rest of my life. Sometimes, gentlemen, the majority of the time, gentlemen, it's just not worth the headache. Right? And I think that's why he was going off in this video, because for him, it was just not worth the headache, right? And then he went into the talking point of how much money he could have spent in his foreign countries in Brazil and the DR with the same amount of money he spent in 3 days in, I think it was, I don't know if he said Austin or Houston, but someplace in Texas, right? He said in 3 days, the amount of money he spent could have lasted him 2 months in Brazil or, the DR. And that's true. The amount of money that you spend in the United States, if you equate it to and or compare how much prices are and what you could do, you kind of have the idea of like, yo, man, this money could have lasted me this long, but I'm spending this in 3 days, 2 days, a week or so. And it blows your minds. It kind of pisses you off. And you kind of wish you had that money back, but you can't get it back. But, I think that's why a lot of people who do travel kind of know how to manage their money in the States, so they try to save it up so that they make sure they have as much money for the budget when they go abroad as possible, as much as humanly possible. So I can rock with them on that one because I've done that a lot. Like, damn, man, I spent X amount on this hotel room, or I spent X amount on this, dinner or going out on a date or whatever it may be. Man, I could have saved all that money and I could have got a dinner date, the hotel room, all of this, that, and the other if I would have saved it to go abroad. Always a great way to visualize and utilize things, especially if you are in a position where you find it hard to save money to get overseas or to get abroad or have money to spend abroad. Think about how much more value or how much you can get out of that money, if you do happen to put it aside rather than dropping it in the moment, right? And then some of the last points he was talking about was how he was talking about how old girls' pHs, how they pH balance be off and stuff. Basically, how it be a little funky and shit. I thought it was hilarious. He said, man, these women in the West, they pH balances be all off. I thought that was funny because he's probably not lying. Like I said, it's been a while for me. Been a long time for me since I've ever dated with and or interacted with young ladies here in the U.S. So yeah, I don't know that vibe, but all I do know is I'm not surprised if it is true. Not surprised at all. And then the last thing that he made, the comment that he made, he says, if men all leave for abroad, women are going to have to comply or at least rethink what they value most. Because you have these women who believe that they can actually live without men. There are so many out here who say that shit. Yo, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. Okay. Let's see how long you last without one. That's really the question. If you feel like growing up and dying alone, that's cool. You'll have somebody that'll smash every now and again because it's kind of funny that, you got those couple of guys out there and they ruin it for the rest of us, but you know them. Right, a couple guys might hit and dismiss you, but you'll never find a value quality relationship for sure. And some women aren't looking for it, so it is what it is. But if you think that you can live without a man, I am definitely intrigued to see what would happen if all of us choose to date abroad in other countries and leave these women to fend for themselves or do for themselves. Let's see how their minds change over time. Let's just see how this feminist energy changes. Man, if you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all that good shit, man. If you want to show some love to the good doc, man, there's a thank you button in the corner somewhere. If you find this video of some value, I appreciate you locking in, appreciate you supporting the channel. Y'all know what time it is, man. Time for the good doc to go and get to getting, man. So y'all take care, y'all stay blessed, man. Doc is out. Peace.